first question is from Sadhana, IA ID number 65. She's asking, Dearest Swamiji, please explain what is Nirvikalpa Samadhi? How can I attain it? Can one hold prana outside the body at will when one achieves Nirvikalpa Samadhi? Please guide me what steps, what tapas, what kriya I perform to attain it. Sadhana, IA ID number 65.
Sadhana, please understand, Nirvikalpa means being without any changes. Vikalpa means changes, oscillation, diversion, dilution, differentiation. All these can be different meanings of the word, the Vikalpa. Nirvikalpa means without any of this. When one achieves Nirvikalpa Samadhi, he literally becomes God. He becomes one with the ultimate. Nirvikalpa Samadhi means your whole being, your whole identity dissolving into the cosmic existence. The individual inner space has no more disturbances, differences. Next question, how can I attain it? There are millions of methods, process, procedures. Pick up any one sincerely, authentically. You are already doing inner awakening. You are already initiated into unclutching. Best direct experience of Nirvikalpa Samadhi can be had by unclutching. Please understand. Unclutching is not even a path leading to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. It is a process directly giving you the experience of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. The moment you start unclutching, you are falling into Nirvikalpa Samadhi. It is not a peak to attain it. It is a valley in which you need to fall. It is not an object to attain it, peak to achieve it. It is valley to be fallen in it. When one achieves Nirvikalpa Samadhi, it is not even an achievement. Sadhana, to tell you honestly, you are asking so many questions about Nirvikalpa Samadhi, but any answer about Nirvikalpa Samadhi will not be truthful when you achieve that state. Now, whatever I say, when you start experiencing, you will only find my words are inadequate. If a common man, person who is in the road, who is a new seeker, if you ask this question, I can give an elaborate answer. Because I know for sure this guy is not going to achieve it. It is like a collecting maps. There are some fellows who are crazy about collecting maps but never travel. There are some fellows who are crazy about collecting menu cards but never eat. Crazy of collecting all the postal stamps but never send anything. Crazy of collecting coins, but will never spend anything. Crazy of collecting swords, but doesn't know how to fight. I know there are some people crazy of collecting things, will never use it. Same way, if a onlooker or a person who is not that authentic or sincere, if you ask about this question, what is Nirvikalpa Samadhi? I can give poetries after poetries after poetries. I can sing any number of songs. He is not going to experiment it or experience it. But sadhana, you are already in the inner awakening. You are getting into Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So when I answer you, I wanted to be very responsible. Any word I give about Nirvikalpa Samadhi will be inadequate when you experience it. You are asking, can one hold prana outside the body at will when one achieves Nirvikalpa Samadhi? When you achieve Nirvikalpa Samadhi, you can hold prana out, in and out and in, anywhere you want. What steps, what tapas, what kriya I perform to attain it? Sadhana, you are already doing it. Inner awakening is the steps, inner awakening is the tapas, inner awakening is the kriya. You need to perform to attain it and you are doing it. Next question.
The question is, Dear Swamiji, I suffer from severe arthritis and had no hope of ever traveling to a place like Kailash. But while traveling with you last year, I had an unbelievably pain-free and pleasant journey. You had said that just being in an avatar's physical presence transforms even your physiology. Can you explain this miracle? We don't have the questioner's name.
All right. Maybe because the person is talking about the personal disease, doesn't want to reveal the name. That's okay, but I know. The question is, I suffer from severe arthritis and I had no hope of ever traveling to a place like Kailash. I still remember when she came to me and asked that I want to come to Kailash, this person who put this question, I said no, because I know she has arthritis and she is quite old. Of course, women will feel offended if I say old. That's why I have to use the word quite old. It means old. So, but she came in Kalpataru and asked this as a boon. God, what all technical loopholes people find. In Kalpataru, what can I do? I said, all right, it'll happen. That's it. She went to the doctor, got the medical certificate, and joined the trip. In Nepal, she's telling me, when we all have landed in Kathmandu, she's telling Swamiji, due to this cold, my arthritis is aggravating. I said, oh God. But one fortunate thing is our Kundalini has already awakened because she has done some program. She has done IA also. Kundalini has awakened. You see, if your Kundalini is awakened, if you had a levitation experience even once, no need to have while you are sitting there. If you have had in my presence when I am initiating you directly, even once, then you can be very clear. Your body will obey to me more than your biomemory. Any disease you create for yourself, any trouble you create for yourself, I can get you out of it just like that. Because beyond the troubles you create for yourself, your inner biomemory listens to me. I can easily get you out of any problem. So she already had a Kundalini awakening and I blessed her and healed her. Immediately she started levitating and then pain disappeared. I said, you will not have any pain. Don't bother. I'll take care. That's all. Immediately her biomemory listened. See, your biomemory listens to me more than you, only in a positive way. And I cannot do anything wrong to you. Of course, I won't do, that is different. I cannot do anything wrong to you. In the highest consciousness, simply your biomemory listens to you. The highest consciousness. Anyhow, because she was in the fortunate space of able to experience Kundalini awakening, immediately she got healed. And throughout the Kailash trip, till the end, she did not have any pain and her whole physiology cooperated. With that cold, usually cold aggravates arthritis. With that cold she managed. Your physiology is nothing but the physical extension of your psychology. If your psychology is healed, naturally, automatically, your physiology also gets healed. Please understand. If your psychology is healed, naturally, automatically, your physiology also gets healed. When physiology gets healed, when physiology responds to the master's energy, presence, you can easily be given any spiritual experience. Spiritual experience will be very easy and highly possible. Because your whole being responds to the ultimate. Your whole being responds to that Kundalini energy. Next question.
The next question is from Terry Sun, IA ID number 92. She's asking, when a person is a vegetative state due to traumas of the brain, is it possible for that person to still work on their consciousness, or do they have consciousness at all? When a person got into a tragic accident, does it have to do with their karma or just an unfortunate incident? If it is related to karma, then how does one completely burn off their karma in this lifetime? Thank you, Swamiji. Terry Sun, IA ID number 92.
Terry, first thing, he has consciousness, but he will not be able to work on it. If he has already worked before the traumas of the brain on consciousness, then he will be able to work even during the coma state, even during the vegetative state. See, before getting into that vegetative state due to traumas of brain, if he has evolved consciously, like worked, meditated, lived that enlightened life, then even in the vegetative state, he will be working on his consciousness. But if he has not worked before, he will not be able to work during the vegetative state. And second question, when a person got into a tragic accident, does it have to do with their karma or just unfortunate incident? Terry Sun, unfortunate incident itself is a karma. If it is related to karma, then how does one completely burn off their karma in this lifetime? After getting into that vegetative state, if you are trying to burn off your karma, it is not possible. You should have done it, you should have started the process before. If he has not started the process before, if he has fallen into the vegetative state already, nothing can be done. He has to die. Only in the next Janma he can burn off the karmas. No other way. Next.
The next question is from Hiranmayi, IA ID number 12. She is asking, Pujya Swamiji, Sadar Pranams. Why do people get thoughts to harm other beings? When suffering happens due to actions from such thoughts, where is God to protect the victim? Love, regards and gratitude. Hiranmayi, IA ID number 12.
Hiranmayi. Don't you see in that very question itself, you are showing that you are too small to ask these questions? It's like all the ants they gather and try to ask a question. Why is elephant also painted in the same color like us? Black should be reserved only for us, not for elephants. We will sue all the elephants and kill all of them. Throw them into the ocean and warn the gods not to create any more black elephants. Let me tell you, why do people get thoughts to harm other beings? It is not harming others, basically trying to expand your boundary, that's all. When you try to expand your boundary, whoever you feel will not fit ideologically with your boundary, you try to harm them. That's it. So expansion is basic nature of life. So some natural rules when it becomes power, especially in many hands, this harming others, this kind of thoughts start happening. When suffering happens due to actions from such thoughts, where is God to protect the victim? Hiranmayi, understand, each one of you have an intelligence to protect yourself. That intelligence to protect yourself which is there inside you is God. I should actually ask, when the suffering happens due to such actions, where are you? God is there. It is you who is not letting the God to function and work. Protect yourself. So, Hiranmayi, even a small worm, if you try to kill, it will stand up to protect itself. So, the identity or the energy which is protecting itself constantly is God. It is there in every one of you, in all of us.
Paramahamsa Nityananda, a rare living incarnation, is named among the world's 100 most spiritually influential personalities today. Paramahamsa Nityananda has been placed alongside Dalai Lama, Nelson Mandela, Oprah Winfrey, Paulo Coelho and others by Mind, Body, Spirit, the world's top esoteric magazine from Watkins, London's oldest and largest bookstore. A yogi by birth, he has been expressing his power of enlightenment since birth. He has authored more than 500 books in Tamil and English. Translations of these books are available in 26 languages in Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, Hindi, Sanskrit, Gujarati, Oriya, Bengali, Marathi, French, Malay, Polish, Portuguese, Italian, German, Danish, Spanish, Russian and Chinese. He is also an exemplary speaker with over 10,000 hours of profound life solutions through his discourses. Social services such as Annadan, free medical care, free educational services with ashrams, schools, temples, hospitals established in more than 140 places around the world, offering exceptional services. A powerful spiritual healer who has healed millions of people of diseases from migraine to cancer. A Kriya Yogi who has formulated Kriyas for physical health and mental well-being, benefiting thousands. A living master who offers practical solutions for our everyday problems. He is the founder and spiritual head of Nityananda Dhyanapeetham, a spiritual powerhouse who has revived the sacred Vedic tradition by establishing Vedic temples in places like Los Angeles, San Jose, Seattle, Toronto, Ohio, Oklahoma, Phoenix, St. Louis, Malaysia, Brazil, Paris, Guadeloupe, Dallas, New York, New Jersey, Atlanta, Calgary, Vancouver, Singapore, and places in India like Bengaluru, Hyderabad, Tiruvannamalai. A spiritual guru for 10 million followers, an incarnation who transmits the highest spiritual energy through initiation, a contemporary yogi who has revived the Vedic science of yoga worldwide through thousands of yoga centers, an adept in Ashtamahasiddhis, mystical yogic powers, who has effortlessly awakened the Kundalini of thousands and graced them with spiritual powers, a dynamic young guru who is an inspiration for thousands of youngsters, India's most watched spiritual guru online, a beacon of spiritual light who has triumphed over the forces of religious terrorism and political persecution. Paramahamsa Nityananda is an eternal Kalpataru, blessing the world with the boons of material abundance and spiritual enlightenment.
Anandanubhavaswadam sarvaroganivarakam Vande Papa Vinashaktam Nityanandaya Swagatam Nityamuktam Nirvikalpam Dhyana Loka Pradipakam Vande Shantam
Let you all achieve, experience, live, express, radiate, share, and explode in eternal bliss. Nityananda.
Nityananda Dhyanapitham, Nityananda Nagar off Mysore Road, Bidadi, Bangalore 562109. Contact 097422033311. www.nityananda.org. www.youtube.com/Life Bliss Foundation.